The reality of building any business is that mistakes will happen. And building Rupert has been absolutely no different, because we've had some small mistakes and we've had some big mistakes. When I started out building Rupert, and I say I loosely because obviously I wasn't building it, it took a lot longer than I expected. Not a little bit, but a lot longer. The biggest one, which is I'm not a developer, right? And something I didn't anticipate was how many things happen that are outside of your remit, things like bugs. And the problem is when you don't have a background in development, you're relying on your developers and sort of taking what they say as gospel, right? Which is fine. And developers that we had at the time when we first started building Rupert were brilliant. But actually it's a bit of a reality check, because then you're going, well, why isn't this working? Or why is this bug happening again? It's now not working. It's just like, well, why is it not working today? And these were in the early stages, before we've even gone live. But one of the biggest challenges we had was the development of the API approvals. When I talk about sort of naivety, God, I was naive. The amount of time it took Meta specifically to approve our API calls was insane. I was expecting to take a few months. It took well over a year. Rupert's live.
We'd have been live a month by the time this comes out, won't we?
It's not live yet. We're still not live. Rupert isn't live yet. Next week, Rupert will be live. We're live officially. Rupert is born. Rupert goes live this week. So we're nearly in July. We're nearly there. When you look at the impact of that of costs, timeline, go live dates, which obviously is then going to impact revenue, I just couldn't believe how long it took. Development is a lot of money. Developers' costs are not cheap. And if you want good developers with good CTOs in place, and there's a lot that goes into it, so it's not just a simple build it, there you go, it's done. The continuous building as well, and the bugs, we had a bug yesterday, randomly, we had a few more accounts sign up and I couldn't view them randomly, no reason why. One of our biggest mistakes is that I had this premonition, build it and they will come. We did build it, they didn't come. They're coming, just not as quick or as fast as I want them to. When people see the platform, they love it.
Oh, this is so much easier. Wow, this is really great.
This is definitely a really, really good step forward in what we want to do. So yeah, super impressed, mate.
This absolutely finds the diamonds in the dirt, doesn't it? I've not seen anything like this. I think it's superb.
Well, it's really nice feedback, I have to say, guys, thank you. When you then ask someone to actually make a financial commitment and say, look, I'm going to pay this amount of money, is where the issue lies. What we try to do in the early stages, and which is still our plan longer term, is to get people into a free trial. We hit them with traffic, whether that be paid ads, email, which we're doing at the moment, get them to actually see the value for themselves and sign in for a free trial. People actually connecting their accounts is still one of the biggest bottlenecks that we've got to overcome. We've got to now educate the market on why comments are so valuable, which is why we're now doing a video on a Thursday, I think goes out, educational content, and repurpose that into an email, which goes out a few weeks later. We've now got the newsletter. So that educational content is going really well. I've had probably 5 agency leads this week, which is good. The brands that see the value in it can't stop talking about it. They don't leave us. But yeah, finding customers, I'd say, is definitely one of those where we were, or I was very much of the opinion, build a good product, good CTA, free trial, show the value, and they will just flock in their mass, flock in their masts?
Masses?
In their masses. And they haven't. They haven't. So looking at one of the mistakes, which is sort of something we're dealing with today, are the events that we subscribed to sort of last year coming into this year. Events are great because you're trying to activate an audience that someone's already built. You actually know that your ICP are those that are there sort of in market today. The problem is if the event firm that you're dealing with or the person that runs that community isn't fully on board with what you're doing, or they don't want to support you as you hoped, suddenly that can be an expense which far exceeds any other type of marketing you typically do, because events are expensive. We've sponsored some this year and last year, and although on the face of it have been successful, and a lot of the success has come from some of the content you've produced, Michael, but actually when you look at how much we've expensed, on the actual contract length, the work that we've done pre and post the event, some of the activation pieces we've taken, which is the scrolls, and as of yet that hasn't resulted in any business. Now I'm not saying it won't result in any business long term, but I am now looking at that and going, is that a mistake or not? Could we have done something different with that money? Do we look at different events this year? So I'm looking at some of those issues where actually rather than just being a sponsor, do I just go and basically network? We're also going to be looking at running our own sort of roundtable event. So we invite 12 brands that we want to work with, maybe with some customers, and just chat about a certain topic. The only issue with this is that a lot of marketeers now, or senior marketing professionals, get invites to these dues all the time. So how do you look different? Do you look at the investment, let's say in the events we've done today, I could have probably ran 4 roundtables for that same money. Would I have got a different result? Again, hindsight, we don't know. But it all comes down to testing and learning. You know, the problem with this type of work is that you can't test and learn quickly because events aren't every other week. It's not a paid ads where you set an ad live and within a week you pretty know if it's going to work long term or not. So that's the issues with events and what we're dealing with today. Because I've been lucky and built a couple of businesses up, one over a very long period of time, you know, mistakes are sort of inevitable. You know, there's no way of getting around that, especially when you're trying to build a business. And the first couple of years are really, really difficult. You know, and the statistics show that's why so few businesses make A, break the million mark, and secondly, last over 2 to 3 years. I can't remember what the actual stat is, but it's quite damning. And the reason why is because they don't know what they don't know. I've not come from this industry. I've not come from community management and or development, and it is an absolute blag to start. When it comes to mistakes and what we've learned from ours, you know, there's a list as long as your arm. The biggest mistake, and I think I've referenced this a few times, which is build it and they will come. I wish they did, but they haven't, and they're still not coming in their droves. They're coming. You know, we had new free users yesterday, which is great, but nowhere near to the volume that I was hoping for. The go-to-market strategy today has not been great. It hasn't been executed as well as I'd wanted to. Like, this is really scalable beyond belief, which is why it was really appealing when I sort of decided to sort of pursue this full time. As long as we're recruiting the right businesses and the right clients, and they see the value in what we do, you know, they'll be with us for a very, very long time. You know, that's really appealing. You know, if you get it right, they are a very, very profitable enterprise. It's a little bit different than the previous businesses, which were very sort of people-led and people-heavy. You know, for everybody, 4 people I needed at the old social agency, I probably need 1 here with the same revenues. In terms of go-to-market, we do need to do a lot more different. We've got to really start taking some inspiration from other brands that have done it well, maybe out of industry, not just the marketing world. You know, grabbing attention and really showcasing through education, of course, as well, but through disruption. How are we going to disrupt people when they're on their social feeds or their inboxes to go, bloody hell, I need to try Rupert. Yeah, so that's what we need to do differently.